InnovateHERs are audacious innovators, industry disruptors, intentional connectors, and courageous change makers. We believed we could, and we women did. The session for the day is Innovate Her, inspiring women leaders in digital health. Let's move forward to hear achievements of inspirational and talented women present on the stage. Good morning, all. The moderator for the session is Dr. Sunita Chauhan, Director Robotics and Mechatronics Engineering, Professor Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, Monash University, Australia. The panelists for the session are Ms. Upasana Arora, Director Yashoda Super Speciality Hospital, Dr. Kamini Khillan, Senior Consultant, Debleena Hospital, Dr. Debleena Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor Marwadi University, Dr. Gitanjali Yadav, Adjunct Professor in Data Science, IISER, Bhopal.
Thank you. I'm sorry I don't know your name.
Richard.
Distinguished organizers, panelists, delegates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to one and all, and a very warm welcome to the first session of day 2 of InnoHEALTH. So, as you might see, that today's session that we are organizing is to celebrate some highly accomplished ladies in the area of digital health. And it says InnovateHER. So, in case you are wondering what is her, it's a wrong spelling. It's not a spelling mistake. It's basically those women who have accomplished really heights in their own ways in the area of healthcare or digital healthcare in particular. Right? So, congratulations, ladies, before we start. And we had a little introduction for them already, but I will be giving little more, and will be asking from them as well. But prior to that, I would like to thank the organizers, all of them, for putting up such an apt topic of our times, which relates to the lives of us all. And in a way, digital health is really something which is not desirable. Personalized or customized healthcare. Hopefully, we will see some examples within these sessions. But I would also like to thank all of you to come here on a weekend to hear us. Thanks for your time, and thanks for investing your valuable time. So the goal for today is that whatever area of healthcare you are working in, I don't need to present. So whatever area you represent in healthcare, we hope that when you go away from here, you will be taking some new ideas, new perspectives, right, in whatever area you're working in, whether it is research or academia, or you are a clinician, right, or you are end user. So all of you may have something to take away from here. So our goal today here is the format I would just introduce so that you will expect what we will be doing. First, I will be introducing very briefly our panelists, and we will see how much they would like to add to that. And then I will go into more interactive conversation, where I will be asking questions particularly related to what they have achieved in their respective field. And as you have just heard with their names and their specialization, we are almost completing the whole cycle, the whole spectrum of healthcare. So we have hematologists, what you call transfusion medicine. We have data science people, data science experts, genomics. We have environmentalists on our panel, and we have above all the manager or administrator of healthcare systems. Myself, I'm a little bit away from that, and I'm an engineer with 4 degrees in science and engineering, and I'm a roboticist. So let's start with no particular order, from left to right with seniority as people say. Let me start with Dr. Kamini. You have. It's okay. So she is MD Pathology and a blood transfusion specialist, working as a senior consultant at the Department of Blood Transfusion Medicine at Sir Ganga Hospital for about 2 decades. So she is associated with International Society of Blood Transfusion and is vice president of the hemoglobinopathy subgroup. And she's serving as an expert with National Health Mission with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and training and trainers for ERA. So Kamini, could you please add a little bit more about your expertise?
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. And first of all, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to the session. And I would also like to thank Dr. V.K. Singh sir and Sachinji for creating such, I would say, such conferences which are out of the box to bring different people from different platforms, different areas to one platform. And now I think my journey, as far as is concerned, I am a pathologist by education, but I went into transfusion medicine and some things are happened to be. We turn into that field of transfusion. Sometimes this is not, every transfusion is just started now, but earlier it was all through your own efforts or your areas of interest that you went into the transfusion. Not many people took that branch by choice. But somehow I was interested in it. The transfusions sort of attracted to me, that what happens when the blood goes inside a person, what happens, how we titrate those things, how we look into the best possible outcomes with that. And I'm happy to say after 20 years, almost in this field now, I'm very satisfied with the bloods that I took at that time. And over the years, I would say, I mean, not going by the CV which is being shown here, these are just the opportunities which are provided to you or which come to you by your sheer position sometimes, and sometimes by your capabilities also. But overall, I would say that one should keep an open mind for new technologies overall. And with the upcoming thing, which is like AI and this digital thing, we need to go forward with accepting this technology and try to build on whatever the data is saying. So to start with, I think I have nothing much to add to my CV as such, but that's okay.
Yeah, but Dr. Khillan, if you could add why you do what you do, that would be really appreciated.
What I am doing, we are actually a multi-speciality center, and we are looking into the transfusions for not only for the simple anemias, but we are also looking for transfusions in transplants. We are looking into transfusions for ICUs. We are also looking into transfusions for ABO incompatible transplants. So what we would like for the whole process of which we are doing is to keep on improving upon the process of transfusion. When we talk of transfusion, we are not talking of just taking blood. We are talking of the quality of blood. We are talking of the improved testing on the blood. We are talking about the improved antibody testing on the blood, and then finally the hemovigilance part of the blood. So we have to cover the full spectrum of that, and the safety part, the importance of transfusion, this needs to be brought in. Apart from this, my focus, I would say, my focus more is on thalassemia, to be very clear. So over the period, what we have found is that once the thalassemia people, they are being given blood for their antigen matched blood, which is found to be much better. And we normally go for ABO matching. But there are certain other antigens which also need to be taken care of. And that is like, we have 5 more antigens. And those, if matched better, will ultimately give rise to less number of antibodies formed in these. I'm not going into the technical details of those things, but what I am coming to that is that genotyping of blood, the phenotyping of more antigens, and then matching that blood to the patient is something which we should look into the future. Not only for this, we are having very few centers right now, but this is something which is required all over it. So once we start with this kind of process, we will be able to bring out better transfusion results in these patients, less number of antibody formation in these patients. So my focus area, particularly nowadays, is in improving the transfusion support for thalassemia.
Thank you, Dr. Khillan. Now we have one of the most dynamic leaders in the Indian healthcare industry, Mrs. Upasana Arora. She is CEO and Director of Yashoda Super Speciality Hospital based in Ghaziabad, and it's a chain of hospitals, as I understand, which has grown from 2000 to now more than 600 plus beds, 700 something beds, with all super specialties. And she again wears many hats. So notably the NAP certified assessor and CII Healthcare Excellence Award assessor. She holds the position of chairperson of healthcare sector in CGC, member of consortium of accredited healthcare organizations, executive committee member of AHPI, and so on. So instead of reading through more than 5-6 pages that I could find out of the web, let's hear directly from Mrs. Arora.
Good morning. I wish you should answer me in a very, enthusiastic way. Good morning.
Good morning.
So good to see all of you, because I think my mentor is here, Dr. V.K. Singh. I have done my CII course with him. He was my teacher. Still, I believe he is my teacher because he has that charisma that all females who are sitting here, they are from different backgrounds, but still very happy together and feeling really comfortable here. So my journey is very different from others, because everybody who is sitting here, they have done their education in the same field, then they are doing their best. My journey is that I wanted to become an IAS officer, and I was preparing for that, but I could not because I lost my father when I was 10, and then I decided to look after my mother, and I wanted to become an IAS officer, and I was preparing for that. But unfortunately, I lost my mother also. So, there was no other option just to get married, because all relatives are forcing you to marry somebody and, go from their house. So anyhow, I was in a dilemma what to do. Just live life like a housewife, or now I should again do something. So I started my journey with Yashoda Hospital in 2000 as a working female, and the challenge was very big. Reason behind this, everybody was there, medical professional, and they were thinking what she will do, what value-added services she can provide. She has no idea about this healthcare industry. So I decided to do something which Yashoda was not doing at that time, and because theme is digital health, so I tried to digitize hospital, and I, done everything, all reports and everything has to be on computer, and there has to be all latest technology. So that was my idea to do. So I adopted everything in new technologies in all ways. Either it was oxygen cylinders, and I converted into vessel, big vessel, and something like that, and everything I have done. But that was not the thing which I was looking for. So then we started another branch of Yashoda in 2006 in Kaushambi. And after that, I decided to do something which is actually good for patients, because I was thinking, what is the best thing in a health system? That is, a patient, if he is happy, he is satisfied, that is going to be your best achievement. So then I did my first course with Dr. V.K. Singh, that was CII course. And sir, we got that prize also, we could achieve that. So anyhow, then I did my NABH assessor course, and then I did one more course with Dr. V.K. Singh. He has done that course in my hospital. That was lean. So this was the journey I started, and if you have a will, that is my message to all of you, because all of you are very young. I think most of the young girls and boys are sitting here. If there is a will, there is a way. And always remember, there is no shortcut. You have to work hard. That is my journey. Now I am heading lots of positions, like I am regional president for Indo-American Chamber. Now I am in accreditation committee of NABH. But what was the reason to reach to these heights? Because I was actually all the time focusing on my patient safety, patient satisfaction. This is my journey, and I am really happy and enjoying my life, and that is why I am sitting here, because my sir called me. So that is the best thing, that your mentor is calling you, and I think you all should feel like that. Whatever you will do, you have to put your heart and soul in that. Only then you will be happy, and one fine day your mentor will also call you for something. Thank you so much.
Inspirational words at the end. I don't know, yesterday I was on the other side of the dais, so I couldn't see that many ladies. Today it's almost 50-50, or maybe more than 50 representation here. Very nice to see that. Next we have Professor Gitanjali Yadav. She is a genomics and neural network visualization expert. She teaches data science at IISER Bhopal with the Data Science Institute there. She is also a group leader in computational biology at IIT Delhi, and serves on the advisory board of the Delhi City Knowledge Cluster and executive committee of Asia Pacific Bioinformatics Network. So, Gitanjali, over to you. Could you please add?
Thank you, Sunita.
And also why you do what you do.
Thank you, Sunita. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Can everybody in the last bench hear me?
Yes.
I'm watching you nodding, so I'm going to catch you if you can't hear me. But it's a pleasure to be here. When Tav Pratish called me a week ago or a couple of days ago, and he said there's this InnovateHER program, but it's entirely clinicians and doctors and administrators. Do you think you might gain something from it? And I told him that what I'm going to gain is a sisterhood, and so I'm coming whether or not you have space. So at the last minute, I was added to this group, and I want very, very much to become part of the sisterhood in public health, mainly because I am not there originally. And I have heard other panelists just now, and I love that you were clear about what you wanted to do from the beginning. I had no clue. As a student, I had no idea mujhe kya karna hai, and there was no ambition. There was stuff people kept asking, kya banoge, kya karoge, and I was like, I just want to have fun right now and have a good time right now and do what I love. And then came graduation. Graduation ke time, my dad was like, now you please tell what you want to do. And I said, okay, what's the most fun thing to do? I want to be a pilot. And that also just to answer him, so that he would stop bugging me, kya banoge, kya banoge. Then he said, hey Bhagwan, tumhara kya ab kare? So then he called me to, he was in the army, and I had mostly army, air force, armed forces. You're not really thinking about the world or the country, because you're always in a protected cantonment, in a protected area where you don't see what's going on with the world. And so I was somewhere in Northeast, and my Masi ji sitting in Delhi said, iska admission karate hain, Delhi University, #1 university hai country mein. And she went to college and got me admitted in a course called Botany Honors. And then I got a phone call ki jaldi aao aur apna college start karo, kal se college start ho raha hai. And my dad said, yes, she has no clue about what she wants to do, put her into that course. I did botany for 3 years because ghar wale bol rahe the bahut zaruri hai karna. And I kind of, as Upasana said just now, I enjoyed it, I listened. And then one day, one of the teachers was saying, do you know, we botanists, we do so many things, but we have no clue कि पौधे के अंदर चल क्या रहा है, xylem phloem के अंदर क्या है, because उसको touch करते ही, cut करते ही, dissect करते ही वो जम जाता है. And I thought, why is that? Can't we do some research or come up with a way to analyze phloem? And I asked my teacher, and he said, oh, ये teaching का काम नहीं है, ये research का है, तुमको scientist बनना है क्या? And then I thought, why not? मैं scientist बन जाती हूँ. And then I finished my graduation, enjoyed what I did. And then the question was, okay, do you want to be a scientist? So do you want to study botany further? I said, no, I have to study something else. And that time I decided, most of my friends were doing MBA, MCA, or national, the money earning fundas everywhere. And they were like, kya scientist kuch nahi hai, bahut saal lag jayenge. And I said, no, let's look at what I want to do. So then I chose to do biomedical research because at that time I felt that India needed to be ahead in biomedical research. And I did masters in biomedical research, and there I fell in love with something called stereochemistry. And then I discovered that stereochemistry, D and L forms, agar aap sub-atoms or sub-compounds ki dekhoge, so you need to be able to understand data in a better way. And then I discovered that this is not what I want to do. I want to do data science. So imagine a student who has no clue and she's changing her subjects. And then I did a PhD in computational biology. When I did a PhD in computational biology, that was 20 years ago, and I was the first and probably only student at that time in my institute, and now I'm realizing that also in India, because that was very, very long back before computational biology became a subject that is being taught right now in all colleges, universities, in leading areas. That time, being the first person, a lot of people told me, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, मुझे हमेशा सब लोग ये क्यों पूछते हैं कि are you sure you want to do this? Get it done, do it well. If you don't like it, go on to something else. And I have done it all the time. And so I did computational biology and data science. And that was the time genomics was expanding. The first genome sequences were coming in. The Human Genome Project was being, there was this big race between Craig Venter and Watson, the government and the corporate sector, to get the first human genome. And I wanted to be part of that genomics cloud, okay? And still I didn't understand much because हम लोग के पास computers भी नहीं थे तब, phones भी, smartphones नहीं थे तब. This is the turn of the millennium. And I knew I want to be here because I've seen a lot of things in a lot of subjects and I want to do data science. आज 20 साल बाद भी, what I'm realizing is that data science is the thing where you need to be. Whatever subject you're studying, study it carefully, but think about the data you're generating, including up media communication में भी अगर हो. मीडिया कम्युनिकेशन में इंस्टा पे, फेसबुक पे, सोशल मीडिया, ट्विटर पे इतना डेटा जनरेट हो रहा है, काउंटलेस अमाउंट्स ऑफ इमेजेस. जीनोमिक्स में एक्सपोनेंशियल अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा. पब्लिक हेल्थ में, I've been meeting people yesterday, so public health में, from hospitals, the kind of data you're generating is huge. But who is analyzing it? Who knows how to? You're good in what you do, but are you thinking about data analysis? And that is where I've decided this is my life's ambition, to make people want to wonder about their data and want to analyze their data. And that is why I do what I do. And most importantly, ये अकेले नहीं होगा. I need a sisterhood for this. 3 साल पहले pandemic में I started something called VVidya. VVidya stands for Women Enabled for Induction as Youth in Artificial Intelligence. Why women and why artificial intelligence? Because बहुत लड़कियां ये सोचती हैं, अरे ये तो engineers का काम है, अरे ये तो लड़के करते हैं. What on earth? Why can't you be an AI expert? Why does always a man have to stand on stage to say AI ऐसे होता है और वैसे होता है? What about you girls? Why do you have to think about anything else? So then these girls came and attended my course, and they were all like, क्या हम फिर से करें? और फिर से करने के लिए funding मेरे पास नहीं था. But I think what we can do, we Vidya, can actually be something national and global, where we change the way we are. So that women like you and young girls like me when I was a young girl don't have to, fall for people saying, क्या करने वाले हो, क्या करने वाले हो, क्या सोचने वाले हो? Because there's always something that will someday hit you as this is what I want to be. And you might stumble into it like me, हजारों अलग-अलग रास्तों से, or you might stumble into it on day one, like Upasana did and like Kamini did. But many of us are confused, and it's okay to be confused. So that is why I'm a data scientist, and I do data science, and I find that there are few women in data science. So we need to expand the sisterhood for women in data science, and that's why I'm here today. Does that answer the question?
People here, audience here, how many young girls sitting here really think AI is, or engineering is, a boys' thing? I think not the young girls of today. Do we? No.
Oh, sweet.
We have one young girl here.
क्यों कर रहे हो?
Okay.
बहुत बच्चे पूछते, बहुत students पूछते हैं.
And it's really a very, I would say, a courageous confession to say that I didn't know what I wanted to be. Sometimes You know, but people think that you are confused because you are going here or there, doing multiple things. For example, mechatronics. Right now, there is a branch of engineering, robotics and mechatronics. It was not 20 years ago. So you will have to really, if you think you want to do that, you will try to achieve whatever is necessary to go to that stage. Right? So it's not like everybody should do only when they're confused. Confuse people at that stage. Think of the future, too far away. Right? So that's a possibility as well. Now we have another wonderful academic on our panel, last but not least. So Debleena Bhattacharya, Professor Debleena Bhattacharya. She is working as assistant professor at Department of Environmental Science and Engineering. As I said, that we are almost completing the full spectrum of healthcare. So environmental impact on health and many things that we consume, their impact on environment, right? It's all known to us. So Debleena did her PhD in environmental science from Indian Institute of Technology, Dhanbad, which was earlier called as Indian School of Mines. Again, a very much boys area, where she performed as a comprehensive study based on treatment of antibiotic residuals in anaerobic hybrid reactor. And she is also on various organizations, serving in various boards and so on. So let's hear from Debleena directly.
Very good morning. Thank you. There is also the co-author of that book. Well, another. So very good morning to everyone. Reciprocate good morning. So before I go further, as ma'am said, that it is truly engineering field is more of a boys field. And when my journey started with biotechnology, and at that time biotechnology was just a boom. We were not aware that what is biotechnology all about. Botany was there, zoology was there. I got admission in botany also in my area. Then my father went on, and this is a new subject, biotechnology. Why you are not taking that one? Okay, I will take that one. And then after doing my graduation and masters in biotechnology, I got an interest in biotechnology. Now, when I went for IITs, it was totally engineering part. And it was difficult for me initially to understand what is wastewater engineering all about. And initially, it was totally a civil branch that where I started. But I was very determined from the day one that I wanted to work on antibiotics. My friend, it actually started with a friend of mine who was detected with multi-drug resistance, and he did not survive. And that was the initial turnout for me to go for what is antibiotic residues all about, why there is a problem, where from environment it is coming. So I started with that from antibiotic residues and how we can clear it out. The reactors on which I worked upon, it was a new thing for me. I was not aware of the reactors also. So I designed it, I started my journey from a biotechnologist to an environment biotechnologist. So it was a journey that was undefined from my side, but maybe defined by people out there. So initially it was difficult, but when I started, there were some of the removal percentage that I received from the reactor that was much better. So I saw so many problems out there because of the use of antibiotics. Nowadays we are prescribed antibiotics and we don't know how much time it takes to flush out from our system. We are told to take a certain dose of antibiotics, but it takes, just a simple example, it takes 6 months to flush out that simple one antibiotic that we are taking. So if you are given a dose of 3 or 4 antibiotics, so think that how much time it takes to flush out from your system. So this reactor that I designed, that I worked upon, it actually clears the wastewater because there is no norms as of now still in the healthcare where where the hospital wastewater, as well as from the domestic where antibiotics are still used, they are clear or not. So that is when I started it. So it was a new field out there. People were not working that much into this, but later on, now it has become more of. We know that there is antibiotic resistance disease out there that is coming up, and the reactors that I worked upon, it cleared most of the wastewater and removed the antibiotics from that, residual antibiotics. Because when, just an example that I gave, yesterday I was talking about that if you mix a disprin out there in a glass of water, that glass of water will taste different. But if you mix it into 1 liter of water, you will not able to understand that there is a disprin out there. And it will be coming into your system invariably. It will be there in your system. It will take time to flush that out. And when you are not clearing that wastewater, see the amount of antibiotics that is coming through the wastewater also. That needs to be cleared off. Else, invariably, we are consuming the water, we are consuming the fishes and all that non-vegetarian food, that is mixed fish and all that. And also, it is invariably coming to the groundwater. Groundwater because that is a pure form of water. As a mode of leaching, it is coming to the groundwater also. So invariably, our groundwater is also polluted. So we cannot say that the groundwater is safe. Earlier, we had the habit of taking the tap water directly. Now we don't. Now we have RO system. RO system again had a problem right now because it removes all the minerals from the water, and we need the minerals also. We don't need the pathogens, but we need the minerals also. The E. coli bacteria that is removed by RO and all the other systems that is available, E. coli bacteria is not that harmful if it is already there in the system. We don't need to remove it. If it is at higher number, it is a problem. But we don't have to go for all the filtration technique for removing that simple E. coli. Along with that, we are removing the minerals also. So we are not thinking on that part. So now the government has taken the initiative to remove the reverse osmosis system and go for the plain filtration that we were earlier using. Apart from that, as I was talking about E. coli bacteria, the test that we are going right now my work is on E. coli also. So it is a pathogen that is coming into the wastewater a lot. And after the COVID, there was a lot of problems pertaining to this. Even the COVID, the AI was used during the COVID period also. There was a study in Sweden in a wastewater treatment plants. The waste that is coming from the domestic areas, people don't have to visit that area to know how many patients are there of COVID infected people, because some were telling, some were registering their name, or some were going for the app that they have COVID problems, some were not. They were house treating themselves. So how do you know that these people are affected by COVID? So then what they came up with, they started seeing the sewage water that is coming from the homes, domestic wastewater.
And in Sweden, I think in India as well.
Yes, in IIT Ganga, they have done this study also. So likewise, after the Sweden study came, then they also started. Actually, the COVID virus stays in the water, in the wastewater for 2 hours. And that was done by the AI intelligence, and they mapped where it was and which area is most affected. Even without the original, they didn't tally the original data. Later on, when they tallied, some of them were reported, some were not. But this study gave the overall picture that where the COVID is affecting out there. So, digitalization is coming up in the wastewater and in the environment field also. But there are, still we can say that it cannot replace the human mind. It is there because we have things, no matter what small change we are making out there, but still we cannot replace the humans out there. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Debleena. Not only interesting, but really necessary information that you just gathered. Now, since this is a digital health conference, InnoHEALTH, and main target area this time is digital health. I will be probing a little bit my panelists onto the digital technologies and use of AI. So, Kamini, you had earlier mentioned that you are intrigued by the digitization of technology, or digitization technology, and use of AI in both prescriptive and predictive analysis in order to give optimized outcome. Your system as well, where you have transfusion medicine, as well as in any other healthcare system. So we know that despite whatever advances in medical area has happened, there is no substitute for, or we can say manufacturer substitute for human blood. And therefore, bank blood is the only thing that we have to depend on. And I also understood that banked blood loses its oxygen content, or maybe when it is transfused to tissues, even soon after it is donated. So how do you think that digitization or AI technology can help maybe in better management of those blood banks? Or how the vigilance could be done? Because we learned these lessons even during the COVID time, the blood perfusion or blood infusion crisis in the US. And same might have happened in other countries too. So could you please elaborate on
Uh, it's a wide question. It's a wide question. To utilize AI for specific purpose, that's one thing. To manage inventory is one thing. So blood banking is actually, it's a big branch. People think it's just blood, giving blood, taking blood, giving blood. It's a cold chain. It's a whole spectrum. We have to, when we think of AI in terms of, or digitization, then we also have to think of how we are collecting, how well we are collecting, how we are storing, how we are transporting, and how we are transfusing. And apart from that, we are also looking into that when we are transfusing. So every aspect will require a separate, you can say, AI module. If you are thinking of storing and inventory management, then you may think of RFIDs working. We have a fridge in which we are keeping the blood, which is RFID tag, right at the beginning of collection. And then there are certain racks. We at Ganga have this system. It is right now limited to inventory management, where we tag the blood, we keep it in the fridge, and there is a software associated. In that software, we are able to locate the blood right at the time of the infusion as well as the time of issue. It saves the time for the cross-matching, saves the time for the issue as well as a better inventory management, because we are able to see how much stock we are having right in time. The second aspect of that part will come when we go to the patient side. We have, you can say, cold chain maintenance, how much time that blood was outside the fridge. And then how long it took for that blood to reach the patient. Then there is one thing which is called, there's part of the InnovateHER, which is called documentation. It's very, very important that you have to, one has to check, at least two people should check before the blood is transfused to the patient. So sometimes it's called short. There are, you can say, near miss events, wrong blood going to the patient, wrong identification of the patient. So those things again can be prevented when we have a system where the blood which is issued from the blood bank itself is locked. So you can say via key. And when there is an app also available, that's the second phase I'm saying. When it goes to the patient, the key opens, or you are able to transfuse only after it opens with a specific key from a mobile app. You can trace it. You put in the right key, just like you go to the bank locker, and there are two keys. One is with the banker and the other is with the yourself. So unless and until you put both the keys together, you cannot open the locker. The same thing happens there. The two people have to document, the blood bank is putting one key, you have to put the other key, and there only you are able to identify correctly that this is the patient who needs to be transfused. So this is another way of digitization of the whole process when taking the hemoglobin. This is one aspect. If we look into slightly futuristic, I would say futuristic from Indian point of view, not from the international point of view, because NGS, have you heard of that? NGS, NGS. That's You know, there is, it's called next generation sequencing. And here, ABO blood group is not just ABO. If I would tell you correctly, there are 346 antigens, 43 blood group systems. So all these blood group antigens, they are not existing as such, they have alleles. There are variants, they're simply called variants. One person is unlike the other. But even if it is little like, a female is there, but female is different from the other. So male is there, male is different from the other. So giving the simplest of things. So look up those alleles and how they behave in an individual once the blood is transferred from one person from the other. We go up to genotype. And to pick up those alleles, we have to use NGS. But with NGS is generating again a lot of data. And data needs to be. So there was, I looked up a long time back that how we can work on it about the NGS and the data generated, and whether somebody is doing something about this. So I just stumbled upon on the net somebody, I will take his name because he created one in software. He's from Australia itself. He's from India and he went teaching bioinformatics. His name is Yadav. I connected with him on LinkedIn. And that they looked into the ethnicity. You know, this problem comes more. I've just given you an example actually how this AI or this digitization things can help, or data utilization or data interpretation can help. So everybody has their own field to tell about, and I'm telling you about the specific to my field. So the ethnicity differentiation affects a word I will use called alloimmunization. Means somebody who is having a different genotyping from the other person, although the blood group is looking the same, will develop some kind of antibody. Physically, you're not able to make it out, but once the blood goes inside the person, it is able to create something. So this genotypic variations are picked up by NGS. And to read those reads, to come up with the variation, to understand that how we can actually match those people, you want to go for some kind of algorithm. You also need to have some software where you put in all the data, all the alleles, and it is telling you, okay, this person is matching with the other. So there is RBC-SEC, this is kind of software we created, where you put in all the NGS data and it's coming out with the answers to those things. So it was a database software. He created that, and I was connected to him also that I want to do something like this in India. So somehow I don't have the, you can say, starting material for NGS. In the sense, I don't have that funding. I'm looking for that funding, where we can do the NGS on the Indian people, and then we can generate that data, and finally we go towards that. So I have found people with bioinformatics, I have found people who can help me out. I will just try and collaborate for those things. With this, thanks to this platform, I have connected with people. So that's the future. Genotyping is the future for blood banking. People have gone to that level. It works for chronic transfusions. It works for people like thalassemia, sickle cell, where they're talking of genotyped blood in foreign countries. We are still stuck to ABO blood, looking at that to even somewhere at remote areas, mixing the blood on the slide and saying, okay, this is matching. And I will tell you, technicians can simply say, "Fata hai ki nahi fata." Means when aggregation is there, it looks like a fata. So this is the simplest way in which a technician at the very periphery level they take. We have to bring that up, and we are looking into it. The NGS and sequencing. I'm sitting at a center where it gives me that vision. It gives me a thought. I have, like, the basics are clear with, and I can run further. But I would like that this thing is taken forward. I will work for that field. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. I'll just take another question related to this. How do you then keep, care of the vigilance aspect of it? For example, if suppose some look as you are saying is given, then how do you get notified?
Notification, every transfusion reaction is reported. There is a hemovigilance software of the Government of India. This also exists internationally. It's called SHORT, where all anonymized data are put. Internationally, it's the SHORT Association. In India, it is the Hemovigilance System of India. And particularly for individual blood banks, there is something called transfusion reaction sheets. Every transfusion is recorded in the patient's record, and every reaction is reported back to the blood. We are there to process it, starting from the clerical error to the immunohematological error to the hemolysis. All three aspects are looked into, even the clinical aspect of it. That why exactly the problem arises. Whether it was a older blood given to, older means blood which is say 42, near its expiry, say 41 days old or 35 days old, given to a patient who was in ICU with a high potassium level. And that was the problem. Because patients' potassium, when you keep the blood for a longer period of time, then the potassium rises in the blood, stored blood. And oxygen, of course, as you said, oxygen level declines. So, that clinical aspect also we look into when we analyze all the transfusion reactions. We go through the whole chain. We get back to the patient's file. We look into the whole spectrum of the errors which can go wrong. And then it is recorded and it is analyzed and then it is. This is called the whole spectrum of hemolysis. It also looks into the tag. Once we issue, how long that particular blood was kept in the ward and not transfused. Whether the platelets was wrongly kept in the refrigerator because the doctor was not available, because the cannula was not able to be put at that time. So that all these things come into the hemolysis and everything is recorded in the tar sheet, comes back to the blood bank for analysis.
So right now they are documented by
Yes.
and you think that they should be digitized?
Yes, they will be digitized once it goes into that phase of
Yes.
the double to that.
So there is an unmet need over there.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Upasana, now to you. You said that you are also a big proponent of digital health and digitization processes, and you said that you implemented things like that many, many years ago, 2000 or so, and as an experiment, very successful experiment. Could you also tell us the negative sides of it? It sounds successful right now, but how challenging it was to implement things like that? Particularly how challenging it is to change people's behavior. For example, in a hospital and super specialty hospital, you must be working across multifunctional teams, aren't you? And in that case, if you have lots of unpredictabilities, ambiguities, how do you overcome? What strategies do you use for that? Thank you.
First of all, healthcare is a place where, nobody is coming happily. I'm talking about patients. And our doctors are playing both roles, doctor as well as engineer. Because now all machines are coming with lots of computerization. Everything, if they are going for a surgery, they have to look into some, some camera, and then they are supposed to do something like which is controlled by some computer system. They are going for endoscopy, they have to use a system. So doctors, poor doctors, all the time they are doing diagnosis as well as they are dealing with the new technology. And all new manufacturing companies are using latest technology. So what is happening? New generation, young doctors, they are able to and capable to manage with all these things. And when things come to EMR, electronic medical record, that is the most challenging job in hospitals because senior doctors are not ready to type. They say, we don't have this much of time and we do not want to do it. Same time, what I feel negative about digitization is that if you are all the time, doing something with the computer, then there is hardly any eye-to-eye contact with your patient. There is hardly any touch with the patient. So, there was a time when doctors were just, keeping their hand on his patient's head and patient was feeling very happy and safe. And, recovery were always very fast because of that human touch, that faith on doctor and all these things. So digitization is helping a lot. AI is playing a major role, especially in diagnostic. Lots of equipment are coming with, algorithm which are detecting TB and some other diseases. But same time in healthcare industry, you cannot totally depend on technology. In other industry, you can do it, and Because what I feel, because I am running a hospital from many years and now we are coming up with 1200 bedded hospital with all latest technology and facility. But still I believe healthcare needs some sympathy, some empathy, some human touch, some physical touch of a doctor and patient. There has to be something human. We cannot depend on only technology.
For more effective communication.
Yeah. So communication is the key of a satisfaction of a patient. If doctor is explaining well, he is giving time to the patient, that is the best remedy for a patient because he wants to know many things. And because everything is not digitized, so doctors are also very busy. I can't blame them because, but what they do, they are all the time dealing with something. Nowadays, robotic surgery is actually very much in, and everybody is getting very good benefits from that. But same time, that robot is again run by the doctor. It is not like that robot is doing something with the own. The doctor has to be there. So, as you ask me how I deal with it, I have a very good relation with my consultants, and they are with me from beginning. Not only consultant, my I should say 70% of the staff is with me from the beginning. So we have a very good relationship, and I feel that to deal with any difficult situation, you need to have a conversation. Whatever problem somebody is facing, you need to listen carefully. So give your ear to your patient as well your staff, your team also. Try to understand their problems and then try to resolve it. If you are not ready to give them 100% assurance, at least give them 60% assurance. So कभी आपने उनकी मानी, कभी उन्होंने हमारी मानी. So this is the mantra to run a successful institution. कभी उनकी सुन लो, कभी अपनी सुना लो. That is the way we are happily working together.
I was more into that when you change the culture, because it's a cultural shift as well for the doctors, right? So in that case, what unpredictability is coming. And secondly, now I can add, because you also said that you are into the ethics and vigilance side of it. How do you spot malpractice in such a way? I'm saying digitized. Is it easier? Is it difficult?
No, rather I should say digitization is playing a very good role in good practices. Because now you cannot hide anything, you cannot change anything. Data is all the time, ready. And our hospital is known for our ethical practices. And how I can prove? Because in 32 years we are able to make only 3 hospitals. These days everybody can, make 3, in 3 years they can make 32 hospitals. So we are doing steadily and with human touch and with all the good practices. But digitization is actually required because no one can change records. So everybody has to write everything, all the honest things has to be there. Because, these days we are providing our reports on portal. So patient can see report anytime, whenever you are finalizing, he can see. So there is no room available to change your things. So I feel it is really good. But when I started this change, that time it was a big no-no from everybody. No one was ready to do, kya madam naya naya laate ho aap?" So it's a difficult time, but now everyone is understanding also. And thanks to this social media make everything very easy for everyone. Because if my doctor is saying, madam, I don't know how to operate computer, then I am asking, you are with me on Facebook. All the time you are writing comments to me. So why you are not able to write here? So these are the things.
Thank you very much. But to people here, audience here, as well as back again to Madam Upasana, why should we have this or that? Why should we should have, for example, a direct communication with the patients, or we have digitization? Like, why don't we have both? For example, we have very good voice recording, or even handwriting recording, completely automated. So the communication, even verbal communication, could be completely directly converted into a data, right? Into an input to the digital device. So instead of this or that, we should work for both of them. Thank you.
Yeah, you are 100% right. This is the best way that we can have both. conversation, if conversation can be converted into data, or these writing pen, these days everything is available. So now everybody is happy, and there is no other option available in the market. No other option is left for anyone, that there is no chance that we can, if you are not doing latest technology, you are not adopting, then you cannot work. So this is the era of technology, and we have to adopt it, and this is a fact of life. Thank you.
To all the engineers over there who would like to work with me on that, I have taken that digital health center directorship, and please contact me after this session. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go to the environmentalist again, because that's how we are getting lots and lots of pollutants and thank you. We started late, so I was not very sure that what's the timeline now. So maybe very quickly. You have said quite a lot already, but I think in metro cities like Delhi or other populated metro cities in India, we are getting this kind of pollution not only from pharmacological industries, as you were saying, or from other industries as cement and so on, but also from our wastewater management, our waste management in general, landfills, methane gas going out. In Delhi, there is a big, I would say, a hill or mountain already developed. How do you think digitization would help, or AI would help in that?
So, pertaining to the digitization, they can help because the mountains are not just in Delhi, it is everywhere out there. That too, all the solid waste mountains. But digitization can help us know where exactly the area is, where exactly and how much the waste, because the waste does not only have your harmful effect in the form of your heavy metals also. How much heavy metals are there, what all can be taken to treat those heavy metals, and the generation of methane gas. It can be utilized for energy generation also. And it is one example I can give you in Hyderabad, the vegetable market. They dispose of tons and tons of vegetable every day. And now what they are doing, they are converting that vegetable waste into methane, and that is running whole industry out there, whole power plant out there. So that way we can use it instead of letting that methane go out into the atmosphere and cause the global warming. We can use it for the energy generation also. And most of the plants nowadays they are using those methane gas to make out all your for energy generation, and all that. So, and also the pollution that is causing all the problems in Delhi, the Haryana one, the agriculture crops that is being burned off. So we came up with a design that nowadays it can be converted into bioethanol, and that bioethanol in 10% nowadays they are mixing with petrol and using it for cars and transportation and all that. But that biomass that is generated from the agriculture waste, that can be used for energy generation also. We are working on that.
Thank you. Gitanjali, I'm looking at you as a solution provider, because whatever we are talking right now is data, data, data. So in terms of whatever applications we have discussed so far, I would like to know from you how much of that you think the unmet needs are possible to be met, and some kind of timeline.
Timeline is a tough one, but I think the potential needs have got to be met, and we are in a position where we can make those needs met. The first thing is that the United Nations Director General, Deputy Director, Secretary General Amina Mohammed, I heard her at a couple of weeks ago, and she again insists that all of the United Nations SDGs, all of the societal environmental problems of the world are got to be, we've not made a dent in them in the last 20 years since the SDGs were made. The only way to make a dent is AI and technology. So we need to make an intervention in AI and technology as we have been discussing here. And the first bit, and that is not just Amina Mohammed, in India we have leaders, and because we are now in InnovateHER on the panel, so women leaders, Parvinder Maini currently, Dr. Parvinder Maini is the principal scientific advise the scientific secretary at the PSA's office. She's an earth scientist. She's insisting upon bringing in a change through technology and AI. There are other women leaders. I believe I'm a role model, and we all have to try and be role models for you. I see all around me women, in front of me women, PhD courses, maximally women, toppers in universities, maximally women, but they disappear after that. So where do you bring digitization to bring these women back into the faculty numbers where you don't have the women? They're again maximally men. The difference that is happening is, I think it's because we don't have a digitization, and to start an intervention, Sunita, at the beginning, to find out where these women went. Dr. Renu Sarup was the last DBT secretary, the former DBT secretary. She decided, and she was talking to me about building a portal for women, including students. हर बच्ची के बारे कि सीनियर स्टडीज, हायर स्टडीज आपने साइंस में किया, मेडिसिन में किया, उसके आगे पढ़ाई MBBS तक करी, PhD भी करा. Then where did you disappear? Where you disappear is the moment at a certain point in your age when you have to think about family, when you have to think about other priorities, where the man can think about getting a job. They can afford to study for a few more years, do a postdoc, get good papers, come back and get a job. If at that point we make an intervention and allow women to come into jobs, for example, college teachers, why do so many college teachers, they are women? Because they are able to get jobs immediately after a PhD. Why are many doctors women? Because we are enabling them to become doctors, study, and take a job. Why in research scientists are not women? That is because we don't know where these women are going. They need a postdoc of 6 years, they need papers, at the same time when they need to have children. And so digitization of that through the Swati portal is going to change the way we believe, and we can do data science on how many girls passed out, were toppers, and how many girls of today in these jobs where we see women leaders. Why are they not? Why is there not an equality there? So we bring in interventions through digitization, starting from the grassroots every level. And I believe we can do that, and we are in a position in India particularly to do that because we have the the numbers to be able to do it. That's my
Thank you, and thank you for wrapping up in a very nice way about smoking. May I have one slogan each from all of our panelists to our audience? What lessons they have learned and would like to pass on to young girls?
I would say I don't have a lesson to teach as such, but I would say that when you think of artificial intelligence, then don't use the word artificial. Think of it as augmenting and actionable. Use A for augmenting and action, and then it will become part of us. Artificial is something artificial. So when we accept it like this, it's helping us and bringing the best out of us, then it is us. Thank you.
This message of ma'am should be welcomed with a huge round of applause, please.
Artificial. Engineers know what is behind it.
So my message to my young girls, because I'm a woman leader and supposed to be a role model for all females. So कोमल है कमजोर नहीं तू, शक्ति का नाम ही नारी है, जब को जीवन देने वाली मौत भी तुझसे हारी है.
That should have been the last statement of this panel because it was lovely. My message to everybody, especially girls, is reinvent yourself. Don't let yourself stagnate. Either it is in studies, in subjects, in courses, in careers, in jobs. To reinvent yourself all the time. All the best.
Yeah. So I come from the state of Gujarat, so thought that I want to pass on. Be the change you want to see around. So you can change yourself, no matter it is a small change, but it's a change. So be the change out there. So it's passed from Mahatma Gandhi, and for us we should take that change and be the change out there. That's all.
Thank you. I would like to thank in the end, and I would like the audience to join hands with me, and to thank all of our panelists for a very, very interesting and inspiring session. And I wouldn't take any long because you are waiting for the tea next. But we started late, and I was told this is how it is. The first sessions are always 10 to 15 minutes late.
Thank you, leaders, for letting us I can see the sparkle in the eye of every woman or girl sitting felicitate other panelists.
Give a loud round of applause, guys. The louder the claps, the greater the inculcation of the message.
Dr. Gitanjali. Now I would request Ms. Upasana Arora to felicitate Dr. Sunita Chauhan.